Next up, we're going to look at Micky van der Ven is as good a left back as he is centre back.
Well, to be fair, whenever he's played left back, he's been good.
He's been brilliant.
That's the
The
truth.
thing is with Van Ven at left back, because of the power and pace he has, he can just burst up that pitch on the left-hand side and really contribute to the attacks. And he's got good passing as well in those areas. And he can bloody finish as well.
He did have that good finish against, was it Burnley?
Yeah, he's had
That was a great goal. And obviously he does those marauding runs. Maybe if he had more license to do those runs, maybe he'll do them more. Because at centre-back, obviously, you have to pick your moments to do it when you're left back. But then, is that too much running for him? We know when he does too much running, he can pull a hammy.
Yeah, but we're talking about like, forget the injuries for a second. Just think about, is he as good a left back as centre back?
Based on what we've seen, it's hard to disagree. Just because he's played great at whenever he's played left back. But the thing is, whenever he's played left back, he's not really had a kind of prolonged run there. He's played that 1 or 2 games there.
Just to fill in.
Yeah, so it's hard to know, like... It's a bit like saying
actual left backs.
Yeah, it's a bit like
fit them both in.
Like when Vertonghen played left back, he was also good. Does that mean he's as good a left back as he is centre back? Maybe not, but he was good at left back when he did play.
But I do feel like Van der Ven is a better left back than Vertonghen was, though. Like Vertonghen was obviously better at centre back, even though when he did fill in at left back, he was decent.
He was really good. He had that man of the match game against
Yeah,
Dortmund.
that one game though.
Oh, what do you mean? Went to the Bernabeu. He was one of the best players.
The Bernabeu as well. I don't remember.
Yeah,
the
he
Bernabeu.
played left back at the Bernabeu. It was brilliant.
When we drew 1-1.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
With Danny Rose in midfield.
Yeah, well, Danny Rose came on. Like whenever Vertonghen had to fill in there, he was great. But is he just doing a really good job out of position, or is he actually as good in that position as he is in his main position? Yeah, maybe Van der Ven is better left back than Vertonghen, but I wouldn't say he's. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. So maybe he has a point because we haven't really seen him have a bad game at left back.
Yeah. Next one is Can't Smile Without You is an absolute abomination and shouldn't be anywhere near the club. Embarrassing. What are you talking about?
Matt Spurs.
What
is
you
this?
talking about? Park Lane Block 40 as well. You call
What?
yourself Park Lane Block 40 and you're saying Can't Smile Without You is an abomination. Can't Smile Without You is brilliant.
It's an amazing song.
One of the best songs at Spurs.
Why would you? Well, what's the hate for? What's embarrassing about it?
I don't understand why people hate Can't Smile Without You so much, or certain people hate it. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a brilliant song. And when the Spurs fans are singing it in the away end and it gets going, it's one of the best songs we got.
Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know why some people don't seem to like it. Maybe it's just people's taste. But I love it. I think it's a great song. I think it's a great anthem for Tottenham. But to be fair, they did try and make it like a You Never Walk Alone kind of thing, and it didn't quite work, did it? But maybe that's what he's referring to. But I don't like. I like it. I think it's a great song, and I think it really fits us as fans. I think.
Rafa van der Vaart left Spurs at the perfect time.
Says Paxton Road original. Well, if I'm arguing in favour of this opinion, look at his career after he left Tottenham. Wasn't great, was it?
No.
Went to Hamburg, and then he kind of went downhill quite quickly after he left Tottenham. And never really got back to his best.
He said it was the biggest mistake of his life.
He did. So maybe it was a psychological thing why that happened.
Yeah, he went to Hamburg, scored 5 goals, then 7 goals, then 4 goals. It wasn't terrible. Just the change of manager, though, did him no favours, was it? AVB that came in.
He said he told Van der Vaart he's going to prefer Sigurdsson.
Yeah.
That's what he told him.
I think Van der Vaart still had life at Spurs. I do believe that. But
I think he could have done another year.
The thing is, though, like with him, like he wasn't exactly the fittest guy known to man. And AVB was really big on the fitness stuff. And
it's where football was going.
It was never going to work, really, AVB managing Van der Vaart. That's the reality.
Yeah, it's where football was going.
Harry was the perfect manager for him.
I reckon if he would have stayed another year, he could have kind of sat the bench for a few months out of the Bayor. And then once Sherwood took over, he would have
come back in.
He would have cooked. He would have cooked under Sherwood.
Yeah. The thing is, Harry Redknapp was just perfect for him, wasn't he?
Yeah. Just go run around a bit, show your quality.
But also Van der Vaart, like if we would have kept Van der Vaart and let's say had him on the bench coming on in the last 10, 15 minutes, like when we needed a goal, like what better player could he have? Like what quality that guy had.
I think he could have done another year. But as well, if you're making the argument he left at the perfect time, I think you could just look at his career after he left Tottenham, and there's a good point there.
Next up is from Liam Talks Ball saying, since Modric, Tottenham do not sell their best players unless they are forced to. Certain players should have been sold before their decline, which is easy to say. Kane was in his last year. Bale forced, world record fee. Romero, big offer potential. Lack of actual minutes. He wants to go. What about Kyle Walker? Didn't mention Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker.
Was Kyle Walker forced upon us?
It depends who you listen to, because a lot of people say he wanted to leave, but then you read, what didn't he say in a podcast that he claimed that he didn't want to leave and he was being forced out or something? I don't know. It depends who you believe. I mean, it makes sense that he would want to go to Man City, especially he's more of a northern boy, and he's he grew up in Sheffield, didn't he? And going closer to home potentially, and obviously Man City, all the money they had. But at the time, to be fair, we were better than Man City, weren't we? We finished above them. This was even before Pep really got going at Man City. He just had one season where he wasn't great, and we were the better team at the time. But I guess Walker's. About how long ago was that? 8 years ago.
Yeah. But he's saying since Modric.
Since Modric, yeah. Just maybe, Kyle Walker.
The thing is, though, like, they say about Spurs not being a selling club and we're forced upon these sales of Kane, Bale, Romero. And I would say Bale aside, I've got to leave Bale out of that because once Real Madrid come calling and you're a player like Gareth Bale, like, obviously you're going to want to go. Like, I don't really blame Bale for that situation. But Kane and Romero, it's all on the club. Like, if we were set up differently as a club and we were going in the right direction, these guys wouldn't want to leave. They'd want to stay here. Particularly Harry Kane, come through the academy here, top goal scorer, legend at the club. He clearly wanted to and wants to break that Premier League record. So it was like Kane was kind of forced out of the club because of we can't match his ambitions.
I completely agree with that. But the question is, are we a selling club? Not that... because once a player wants to leave, especially with Kane, he had a year left on his contract. I guess from the club's point of view, they had to look at the Liverpool circumstance at the moment. They're facing letting go of Trent for nothing, albeit he's going to leave with a league title behind him.
Yeah. But
they do face the fact this guy, they could have got 100 million for him, probably more. They're going to lose, and they're going to lose him for nothing. Whereas we got 100 million for Harry Kane. So from the club's point of view, they were kind of forced into doing that.
Yeah. But as a fan, you'd rather that league title than that 100 million.
No, I completely agree. I mean, not to say we would have won the league if Kane stayed, but I agree. I was saying all summer I wanted Kane to stay, and I wanted us to give the best chance of even trying to convince him to sign a contract, even if ends up not happening. But the question is, are we a selling club? Do we make players to sell them, or do we make players because we want the best team? You know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't say we're a selling club. I think we try to keep our players a lot. Like, we're not like Brighton or one of these teams who actively look to sell.
Probably when you compare us to the other top 6 clubs, we sell our biggest assets a lot more than any of them probably.
Yeah, but also we might hang on to our assets a bit sometimes too long in some cases. Look at Man City. Like, if a player wants to go and there's a good offer, they'll sell. Like, they got no problem. It doesn't matter how good they are. Like, Cancelo was one of the best fullbacks in the league at the time. They sold him. You look at Sarr, sold him when the time was right. So, like, the even very good players they got, they'll sell them even if the circumstances
Cancelo
are right.
was a bit different though, wasn't it? Because Cancelo was out of favour at Man City.
I'm just saying, like, they will sell a player if the circumstance is right, not just because not just looking at the quality. And maybe sometimes there are some circumstances where we could have sold potentially and we didn't, and we could have.
Yeah, but we just get forced upon our selling our biggest assets because the club's a shit show.
Yeah,
that's the reality.
Yeah.
So I think that it's true. Ange out says Alvarez, Alvarez,
yeah,
because he wanted first team football and he wanted to start regularly somewhere. So Yeah, I guess, look, there's circumstances surrounding everything, and actually Man City do a very good job of that. But the difference is between Man City and Tottenham is they'll sell and they'll reinvest into a top quality player, where we won't, pretty much. Like Alvarez left. Yeah, actually Alvarez they didn't replace, but now they've got Marmoush there, which can be said same kind of quality.
Yeah. And obviously we sold Kane, we didn't replace him as well, but then we signed Solanke, which is a big difference.
Next up is from Spurvolution. Says we're a fit starting back line and a CDM away from challenging from the league in the next 2 campaigns.
The league. I don't know about the league.
What do we need to challenge for the league?
What do we need to challenge for? Probably need more
a decent manager.
Probably need more of a goal scorer up front, potentially. Someone who works just as hard as Solanke and maybe scores more goals to challenge Solanke, I would say. I think Solanke is good enough to be there, but maybe if we had a winger who created more chances for him, he would score more. But he's not scoring enough at the moment to be for a number 9. So maybe another striker, which I think if we sell Richarlison, that might happen unless Tell is that option. Maybe probably a right winger to challenge Johnson. I think you probably need, if Romero's going to leave, you probably need a really high class centre back to partner Van der Ven. Maybe another one on top of that potentially.
Assume Romero's going to stay.
If Romero's going to stay,
because he's saying a fit starting backline, which is the backline that we have now. So he's just saying just that and a top 6 to come in, and we're going to be challenging.
And we need to keep our players fit. Maybe a new medical team.
I think
and midfielder
we need
as well.
We need a much better forward line if we're going to challenge for the league. That's what it's going to come down to. Because I know we score goals, but it's just not good enough for a title winning kind of side. You look at all the teams that have won the titles, like our front 3 are probably not fit enough to lace their boots. That's the reality. Next one is from Josh Wigan. Our squad is in the best position it has been in 5 years. The Deadwood has moved on, and we have a squad full of talent ready for a coach to take them on to another level. I agree with that to a certain extent. I still think we do have a bit more Deadwood in this squad. But yeah, I do agree that the squad is probably in the best kind of way it's been in the last 5 years. But again, the last 5 years have been in complete shit show of the state of the squad.
Exactly.
So it says more about the state of the squad in the last 5 years and the state of the squad now.
Yeah, and that's needed a lot of changing, and that's what obviously when Ange came in, that was like the remit: make the squad a lot younger, overhaul the playing staff, get rid of all the old experienced players who are past it and all that kind of stuff, and bring in new, vibrant, younger players. And obviously that's what I think Spurs are trying to do at the moment. And I agree, the squad is full of talent. And I think a lot of them it's just a patient game, trying to get them back, a lot of these players up to their best and allow them to fulfill their potential. People like Bergvall and Gray and Odebear, all these players who clearly have a lot of a potential, but it's all about allowing them to flourish and giving them that time. Micky Moore as well. So I agree, it's full of talent, but in terms of how ready is it right now, it clearly needs a bit more time.
It's nowhere near ready right now. Rodrigo Bentancur is our best midfielder. I think on current form, Lucas Bergvall is our best midfielder. In terms of quality, in terms of who is a better player right now, who is our best midfielder?
Kulusevski?
Yeah.
Maddison?
Yeah, I think he...
Bentancur. I mean, if you're taking away number 10s, say we're not comparing
number 10s, then I'll probably agree.
I mean, it's not. It's hard to believe that, but maybe it's true.
Yeah. Again,
unless you'll say, I think Bergvall is more. I think Bergvall clearly has a lot more in terms of the ceiling. I think he's got a higher ceiling than Bentancur, but in terms of right now, it's hard to say he's a better midfielder than Bentancur.
He's performing better than Bentancur.
He definitely is. He definitely is performing better than Bentancur. He's better than Basuma. Is he better than Sarr? I think he's...
Is who better than Sarr?
Bentancur.
Yeah, I think so right now.
He's better than Sarr. So, it's basically, do you think he's better than Bergvall right now or not?
I think Bentancur is our best midfielder right now, currently.
Which is mad.
Which just shows the state of the midfield, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I know Basuma's not playing well at the moment, but you got Sarr, Bergvall. Like, they're not bad players.
They're not bad players, but they're up and coming players, right? They're nowhere near the finished article. Where Bentancur, like, he's not going to get much better. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, hopefully he will.
What he is not right now in terms of current form, but what he is as a footballer right now, that's what he is. You know what I mean? He's not in development stage anymore.
For sure.
These kind of guys are still in development stage.
Yeah, I agree with that. And obviously, we know Bentancur is best as a phenomenal midfielder when he's at his best. But unfortunately, since that injury, he just hasn't been able to hit those heights, which is a shame. But I think when we're saying at their best, I think there's a very good case that Bentancur is our best midfielder.
Yeah, we just rarely see it. That's the reality. Next up is Sarr is a better talent than Bergvall. Look, I think a lot of people are going to be going on recency bias with this, with Bergvall being an obvious better than Sarr, because on form, he's clearly better, showing better levels right now. But, people forget about how good Sarr was, the first half of last season, how good he has been at times for us this season as well. I do think, he has taken a little bit of a backward step this season. He's not that kind of midfielder that we expected and hoped for that we would see this season. But people got to remember he is still very young and he's still got a very high ceiling, Pape Matar Sarr. So I don't think he's a better talent than Bergvall. I do think Bergvall's got a higher ceiling, but I do think Sarr is a very, very good talent. But I don't agree with this one.
Neither do I. I think, from what I've seen from Bergvall, I haven't seen anything like that from Sarr, to be honest. I know Sarr's been great at times. And
different kind of players, though.
They are different kind of players, and they have different kind of strengths, but I see what Bergvall offers, not just on the ball and off the ball, but that quality, that control in between the lines, that technical ability. Sarr is decent technically, but he's not as good as Bergvall. He doesn't have that 360 vision that Bergvall does in terms of that awareness. Sarr is a tireless runner. He's got an unbelievable engine. But Bergvall too also has quite a good engine. And I think when you're comparing both of them, I just don't see what Sarr offers that much more than what Bergvall offers in most aspects. I think Bergvall, from what I've seen from him in recent weeks, look at some of the shots Bergvall takes, the ability to even play in that number 6 position where Sarr's been there and he's struggled to adapt as well as Bergvall is in that position, even though in theory Bergvall's the more offensive player. That's because I think it's his awareness and that appreciation for space and his ability to get past players and be press resistant, and I just don't see Sarr, even at his best, as being that good.
The reality is the plan has got to be to get them in the same midfield. To get Bergvall, Sarr and Gray. They're surely the club's plan right now. They envisage to see them three as our kind of midfield trio, midfield trio. And
definitely I do think Sarr has levels to go for sure.
Next up, we're going to talk about Timo Werner. Nico, THFC, says Timo Werner is a better footballer than Brennan Johnson.
I'll tell you something. The only thing I would say in defence of this, I don't agree with it, by the way. I do think Brendan's better, but the only thing I would say is, even in games where Timo's not having a good game, he's not usually as anonymous as Brendan does when he has a bad game. You know what I mean? At least he's still getting those chances. He's still running in behind. He's getting on the ball a bit. When Brendan's anonymous, he is anonymous. He's not getting a kick. At least when Werner's anonymous, at least when Werner's having a bad game, he's still at least getting on the ball and trying things. You still see him. Whereas Brendan,
he's visible.
Yeah. And Brendan, you don't. But I think Werner is just such a shadow of the player he used to be, unfortunately. Now, the question is, could Brendan ever hit the heights of how good Werner was at his best? Probably not. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, can he score 28 goals in a season is what you're asking me?
I guess you never know. He's currently on 14. I'm not saying he's going to hit 28 this season, but if he's on 14 at the moment, maybe next season and the season after, he could keep...
Premier League 14. He scored 28 in a Bundesliga season.
I think he's on 9 in the league.
I'm telling you, Brennan Johnson is never scoring 28 in a Premier League season.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. So, if you're saying what they're completely capable of, is it completely crazy to say that?
Yeah, but the tweet is he's a better footballer than Brennan Johnson. That doesn't mean he was a better footballer 5 years ago, 6 years ago than Brennan Johnson. This whole thing about Timo Werner, you can't bring in those 2 seasons because those were clearly kind of the exceptions to the rule because the rest of his career has been total crap. This is the player who he is.
Agreed. Agreed. I don't think he's better than Brennan. And I think it shows when they on the pitch at the moment. As much as Brennan is anonymous in some games, he's still just way more effective than Werner.
Johnson is miles better than Timo, in my opinion. Miles better.
But what is he better at?
Ghosting in at the back post. He's better at finishing, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's better. Yeah, finishing. Fair enough. Much better finisher.
I think what Timo has on him is his ability to take on his man and get in a cross. I think Timo's better at that than Brennan Johnson. But then again, Johnson last season did that well. You know, he got in he got 10 assists last season, and they were all kind of decent crosses, like that low-driven crosses to the back post.
It's true, very true, and yeah, we haven't seen that enough from him this season. But I think, yeah, for sure, I think I wouldn't say awareness because I think actually Werner's very good at like running in behind and actually making those runs, and he actually gets found. He's just a horrible finisher. I'd say finishing for sure, pace. I think they're probably just as quick as each other. Dribbling, Werner's a bit better. I think crossing, Johnson is better, but we don't see him in crossing positions enough. And I think Werner is very inconsistent in his crossing.
It is an interesting debate though. But you look at Timo, right? What has he got? No goal contributions in the Premier League this season.
He actually assisted Johnson one game, I remember.
One game,
I think
so one assist he's got. I guess he hasn't played that much, but
yeah, and he's now out of the Europa League squad. Yeah, I just think Brennan's a lot more effective footballer right now.
Now let us know what you think, guys. Who is the better footballer right now? Is it Timo Werner or Brennan Johnson? Let us know in the comment section. Next up, Spurvolution again saying Ange is better than Poch. If given another season, he will prove this. Injuries hold him back. Nah, this is a muddy tweet. And you all said this title was clickbait. This is the tweet why the title is the title and the thumbnail is the thumbnail. Ange is not better than Poch. In what world is Ange better than Poch? What's Ange done in his career to say he's better than Poch? Nothing.
Won the Asia Cup.
Won the Asia Cup. How long ago was that?
2014.
And then that's when Poch took over Spurs.
Yeah.
Like if Poch goes into Celtic, he's also winning the treble and winning consistent titles.
He just lost in the CONCACAF though. It's a tournament which CONCACAF Nations League actually wasn't CONCACAF. But does Poch win the Asia Cup with Australia?
Of course he does.
Does he win the Japanese league?
Yes.
He didn't even win the French league with PSG though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, he did win the second season, but he didn't in the first season.
He still won it.
He didn't in the first season though.
No. So what are you saying? Ange is better than Poch?
Just saying there's an argument.
What's your opinion?
No, I think Poch is, but I think well, clearly from what we've done at Spurs, obviously the first season was quite similar. They both finished fifth, but then obviously the second season, I mean, Poch took us to, we got closer to Leicester, didn't we? And we obviously finished third, but we were much better in that second season. Albeit, it's quite interesting when you compare because when Poch started his second season, it was also quite like being consistent before we really hit our stride. We hit our stride around like October, November time, and then we really got going. And obviously, for us this season, again, a bit of an inconsistent start, but then we got hit by all those injuries. Like we had 12 injuries, so who knows what would happen if that didn't happen. But I think it's hard for me. I can't really make an argument based on what we've seen in managing Tottenham that Ange Postecoglou is better than Poch because Poch was also working with a lot less money as well, and he improved us year on year. And
also, like, I don't feel Poch. I mean, look, Poch never had it as not anywhere near as bad in terms of the injuries. But whenever we did have a key player out, he always found solutions to get the best out of the team. Like, when Vertonghen was out and when Kevin Wimmer came in, he made Kevin Wimmer look amazing. And we were like, wow, who's this Kevin Wimmer guy? And look at the career he's had since leaving Spurs. Whenever Kane was out injured, we're like, where's all the goals going to come from? Suddenly Son stepped up and absolutely scored banging loads of goals. So there were loads of situations. There was probably more than that I can't remember off the top of my head. But when we did get those injuries, I felt like he manoeuvred the situation a lot better than Ange.
Yeah, but he just never had to deal with as many.
So
it's fine when you got one or two. I think Ange has maneuvered, like last season, we didn't have a strike and he was playing Son up front and it worked. Like, I think he's had to use certain players at certain times, like in different positions. I remember some games last season he had to use like Van der Ven left back. He even played Ollie Skipper left back sometime, and he played quite well.
Yeah, but we were terrible at that point.
We were terrible at that point. We had very hard games. We were playing away from home against like the top 5 teams. It was very difficult. But
when you're going for top 4, you've got to take at least some points in some of these games. He lost literally all of them.
He lost 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. But again, he had a lot of circumstances surrounding it for his first season, all that kind of stuff. But I agree, it wasn't good enough. Anyway, it's not the point. My point being is he has, I think, when he's had only a few injuries to deal with, he's found a few more solutions than when he had 12. If Pochettino had 12 injuries, I don't know how many solutions he would have found.
You can't call it finding solutions if you're not winning the games, because he wasn't winning the games. Poch was winning the games.
Moving Van der Ven to left back, he won a few games. I think he beat Burnley because he moved him to left back. He scored a goal, didn't he?
Yeah, we beat Burnley.
Burnley.
Right. Cool.
I can't remember off the top of my head now. Back last season, but
I'm just going back to the point about moving Skip to left back. I mean, that's not finding a solution if you're not winning the games. Did we win games with Skip at left back?
Can't remember. I think we won one. Can't remember who it was against. I think we won one game, but I think that we played it against Liverpool, didn't we? We lost at Anfield, but that was, I think he came on at that point, and then the next game,
2 games at left.
I think the next game, I think we won. I can't remember who it was, and I think it was with him at left back. I can't remember who it was against. Anyway, but yeah, I wouldn't say Ange is better than Poch. Definitely for Tottenham anyway, for sure. But obviously, there's a lot of circumstances around that.
Yeah, there is no chance in hell that Ange is anywhere close to Pochettino, in my opinion.